You've spelunked into the Matt Cave. Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Matt Cave. Thank you all so much for spelunking on by. This week, it is a little bit of a down week. Again, we're at the end of July, early August, not much to talk about. College football is just around the corner, a little over a month away. And then a month after that, we've got the NFL season. We have the NBA season tipping off. NHL, the puck drops. So we're getting there. It's just right now, since there's no MLB team in Utah yet, let's keep our fingers crossed for that. The only show in town is Real Salt Lake. So I'll be talking about them. I'll also be talking about an interesting report from ESPN about who they think could be a winner of the Calder Trophy. And if you're unfamiliar with the naming conventions of the NHL, don't worry, that show's upcoming as well. But the Calder Trophy is essentially the Rookie of the Year. And Rookie of the Year means something different in the NHL than it does pretty much anywhere else. So that will be explained in further detail down the road. Just for now, just know that it's Rookie of the Year. So I'll talk about that, and then I'll do my review of EA Sports College Football 25, as well as my review of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. Now, I haven't finished it yet, but I do have quite a few hours into it, so I think I can give a fair assessment. And I've been playing EA Sports College Football, as you would expect, pretty much nonstop since I got it on Friday. All right, as always, please do rate, review, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you listen, please do it for me. It means the world. You all are amazing human beings, and I appreciate it every time you do it. So please continue to do so and support the show and get as many spelunkers in here as possible. Follow me on the socials. That is at the Matt Cave Pod on X, as well as the Matt Cave Podcast on Facebook. You can also find my stream on twitch.tv/MattsCave, MATTS Cave, as well as on YouTube. You can find me, the Matt Cave Podcast, all one word. All right, so that does it for all of that, and so let's dive into things. So Real Salt Lake is on a losing streak. The sky is falling. Everything's over. The season's a failure. Wait, no, that's not right. In the last 3 games, Real Salt Lake is 0 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. The 2 losses have come to Colorado and Portland. Portland is mired in a pretty bad season for them, but Colorado is in 4th in the West. And then they drew against LAFC, who is a top team. They still have only 24 games played, and they are sitting at 47 points. So, ostensibly, you can say they are the first-place club in the Western Conference. It was also a road trip. All games were played on the road, and Real Salt Lake was shorthanded. Against all 3 teams, they did not have Chicho Arango, who is still serving a 4-game suspension for violating MLS's harassment policy, and that's as far as anyone dug into it, and that's as far as I need. I don't need to know why. He just got suspended. Real Salt Lake said, we accept the suspension. Everybody moved on. So he's out for 1 more game. The Leagues Cup game does not count. It has to be an MLS game. So 1 more game out for Chicho, and it's kind of showed in the attack. In the games that Chicho Arango has missed, Real Salt Lake has scored 3 goals in 3 games, whereas before they pretty much averaged 3 goals per game. And in one of the games, they were also missing Andres Gomez. He was also serving a 1-game suspension due to yellow card accumulation. So it's not surprising that Real Salt Lake lost to Portland. It was surprising that Real Salt Lake got a draw with LAFC, and it's not really that surprising that Real Salt Lake lost, although it was kind of a heartbreaker. The Colorado Rapids got a penalty in the 88th minute, and that kind of ruined the draw that Andres Gomez basically himself brought Real Salt Lake to. The good news is that Diego Luna was named as a replacement for Chicho Arango in the MLS All-Star Game, so that's good news. He finally gets recognition for the season he's having because the U.S. men's national team for the Olympics decided he wasn't good enough. Yeah, so that's good news. Overall, the depth issues that I mentioned at the beginning of the season are there. Once you get past that front attacking 4, I would say, there's not much in the way of threats that Real Salt Lake has. And then if Justin Glad has to miss any amount of time, that defense falls apart, as we've seen. But the good news is we have both of those guys. Justin Glad and Diego Luna are both all-stars for the MLS, going up against Liga MX all-stars, I believe is what it is now, instead of that foolish thing they used to do where it was a bunch of different MLS players selected to go up against a European club. And I don't know if the MLS All-Stars ever won one of those. It was just embarrassing. So it's a better competition now to kind of strengthen the sport in the continent of North America, which I'm all about. Now, moving forward, the transfer window is still open. So ostensibly, Real Salt Lake could get somebody, just a body in there that maybe wants to win a cup, because Real Salt Lake, when fully healthy, can play against any team in MLS, even Inter Miami. And who knows how long Lionel Messi is going to be out. It's just, they need like one or two more guys, either to step up from the bench to prove that they can do it, or to go out and sign. I'm hoping they can do it. I don't know what their monetary situation is. Nobody really does when it comes to MLS because their rules are so confounded and stupid. It makes no sense. Just adopt the policy of the rest of the world. Why does the MLS have to be so different? Anyway, that's my shopping list for Real Salt Lake is depth, whether it's another leader in the back five or if it's another threat up front. But the sky's not falling. It's quite all right. Real Salt Lake will make the playoffs. Even if they lose every game here on out, they will still make the playoffs. It's fine. The next two matches for Real Salt Lake are August 1st and August 5th. Those are both in the League's Cup. They don't return to MLS action until August 24th when they face off against San Jose. All right, so that's it for Real Salt Lake. The sky's not falling. Everything will be all right. We'll get our guys back. It'll be fine. Now, let's move on to this interesting report that ESPN released about who they're thinking will be the top candidates to win the Calder Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. And I like it. Ryan S. Clark did a wonderful job writing this article. And if you are unaware with his work, he is one of the guys that wanted the NHL to come to Utah when the Coyotes were mired in their mullet arena just muck. So the third name is the one that I want to highlight here. That's number 3 out of all of the rookies that will play next year that he thinks and ESPN agrees will be a rookie to watch. Now, it's Josh Doan, which will forever be funny to me because that's the name of my best friend, who is absolutely not on the hockey team. But it's very funny to me. He's the son of Shane Doan, not my friend, but the hockey player. And so he was already named to the AHL's all-rookie team, which, awesome. So he's already gotten recognition for being a very good player. So, and what's awesome about this is because Utah coach Andre Turigny is not afraid of playing young guys, which I love. The coaches who stick to veterans just because they feel like they need to really bother me. If there's talent, you play the talent. You don't owe anything to the guys who've been around for a while. If their talent is slipping, you got to replace them. It's a cutthroat world. It's professional sports. Now, do I think Josh Doan will win it? That'll be interesting because Macklin Celebrini is very good. Like, he's very good. There's a reason he was number 1 overall. But he does play for the Sharks, and there's a reason the Sharks were the number 1 overall pick in this most recent draft. I think it's possible. And what's also really cool about all of this is a lot of the writers for different sports outlets are saying that the Utah Hockey Club is almost a safe pick to make the playoffs because of all the moves that GM Bill Armstrong has made this offseason. He finally has an owner that's willing to spend, and the owner told him, go for it. I love that. All owners need to be like that. And as fresh hockey fans, we will be blessed with this team. This team is going to be very good. And what I also like that Bill Armstrong is doing, if I can pivot there, is he didn't put all of his eggs into this one off season's basket. There's still plenty of room under the salary cap for him to make another move, but he's not making a move just because he has the money to spend. It's not burning a hole in his proverbial pocket. The reason I love this is because come trade deadline season, the Utah Hockey Club is going to be in the conversation. There will be clubs that have fallen out that will have stars available. And so what Bill Armstrong has done is he's positioned himself to have the cap space available to make a trade, but also he's got enough draft capital. I know Jazz fans are sick and tired of hearing that, but he has draft capital to make a trade that would be enticing, but would not set the Utah Hockey Club back. So I think he's done a wonderful job setting up the Utah Hockey Club for the future, as well as this season. And so Josh Doan is possible. There's also for Rookie of the Year, but also we need to keep an eye out for Logan Cooley. He's going to be very good. And like I said, when Tidjaginla was drafted, it will probably take a year, maybe a year and a half for him to hit the NHL stage. Now, anything is possible. He could show up and just blow everybody away and just say, all right, we can't not promote this kid to the NHL, and he could be a third or fourth line guy. But he's not going to be the guy for a little bit. So we need to pump our brakes there. But overall, I am very excited about the Utah Hockey Club. I am still a Colorado Avalanche fan. Colorado Avalanche are probably the best team in the West if they can stay healthy. And if they can figure out their situation with Valeri Nichushkin and Gabriel Landeskog, then I think the Avalanche will be even better positioned for this season to win it all. So I've got two different fandoms working against each other, but it's really cool that they're not rivals because they made a couple of deals on draft night. So the rivalries, again, I'm going to mention this, for the Utah Hockey Club are first and foremost Las Vegas. Those fans were booing like crazy when Ryan Smith was on the stage. I loved Ryan Smith's response to it. He said, "Why are you booing me? We haven't done anything yet." And it's true, they didn't up until they made the pick. And then they made the pick, and now we're also rivals with Calgary because we took Tidjaginla away from them. So there's already two rivalries in place for Utah, and the puck hasn't dropped on anything. I will say this about Tidjaginla, though. He has impressed at the intra-squad scrimmages that have been taking place, but those are scrimmages. That's not 100% full-bore, crazy hockey. Just ask Chunga and Chandler the difference between a scrimmage and an actual full-speed game. So, he did look good, though. That's very promising, but it doesn't really mean much. Okay, so that's really it for sports this week. I do want to pass on my condolences to the Utah State football family, as well as the family of Andre Selden Jr. He passed away in an accident at a Utah reservoir. They were cliff diving, I guess, and he drowned, and that's really sad. Really sad. So my condolences go out to him, his family, the Utah State family. It's terrible. There's no other way to slice it. It's terrible. Okay, after that moment of silence, let's move on to video game reviews. I haven't done these for a little bit. I've been mostly focused on the sporting side of things because, well, this summer's been pretty exciting for the state of Utah. And so two games I want to highlight today are Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail and EA Sports College Football 25, colloquially known as College Football 25. People are calling it NCAA 2K25, NCAA 2025. None of those are true. It's EA Sports College Football 25. That's the name of the game. And I'll start with that one. So I streamed it for about 3.5 hours on Friday, like I said I would. And it was so much fun. In my rating scale of buy it if it goes on sale, buy it if you like the series, or stay away, this is a buy it. It is. And I know that's weird for me to say that about an EA game, but it's 100% true. The team that worked on this game cared. And one of the things that encouraged me in the run-up to this game releasing was every school is somebody's favorite school. And so we want to create these teams to reflect that passion. And they did. So obviously, I played as BYU because I have to pay homage both to my grandfather as well as to my past and younger self. And what's awesome about it in this game is they take things from the real environment, the real experience of being at Lavelle Edwards. And the one that I was impressed that they got was after every first down play, they play the roar of the Cougar, and they also have the crowd shout first down. They do that in the game. Now, they couldn't get the actual PA announcer for the Cougars to get a recording of what he does, so it's not quite the same thing, but it's close enough, because the PA announcer in the video game goes, and that's another Cougar, and then they say first down. So they still got it right. It's just not the same sort of flavor to it, because the PA announcer, if you haven't been to a BYU game in Lavelle Edwards, the PA announcer goes, and that's another Cougar, and then everybody goes first down. So it's really cool. They also have something that's embarrassing, which is the Y that people put up, thanks to Kalani, head coach Kalani Sitake. The cheerleaders do a weird thing with it, where they pull it down and they push it to the camera. I don't like that. That looks really embarrassing. But they've got Cosmo in there too. So that's really cool. The recruiting is fantastic. They did not skip out on making sure that it was a good experience to do recruiting. I haven't played quite enough to figure out the hiccups or the cheat codes to be able to do it effectively, but it makes sense. And that's all I ever wanted when it comes to recruiting in these games. Also, the transfer portal, awesome. During the course of your season, you can see if any of your players are at risk of transferring when the season ends. And that's fantastic. So whether it's your program prestige, chance of getting drafted, play style, coach prestige, coaching staff, proximity to home, it's really cool to see how your school stacks up against other schools. I like it a lot. In fact, I enjoy it. I did venture into the Ultimate Team because I got a couple of free packs because I pre-ordered the game. It's Ultimate Team. They did not need this mode, but EA probably forced it on them because it's just pure cash for EA. Essentially, what's happening right now with Ultimate Team in EA Sports College Football 25 is the current slate of players, over 11,690 of them. You have a chance to get them in these packs. And when you open the pack, you can choose which conference, you can choose which school even sometimes. And so if you do it by conference, it opens up one player from each school. You can select said player to put onto your team. Cool, I guess. There will also be former college football players who will agree to have their name, image, and likeness put into this game. And players such as Patrick Mahomes have already said yes. I think Cam Newton said yes. So you'll have a chance to get those as legendary cards, which is just another way of saying it's incredibly rare and just a gimmick for you to spend your money on a game mode that shouldn't exist at all. The gameplay itself, when you get into a game, I do have a couple of quibbles, but they are not quibbles that will ruin your experience. Defending against the run in EA Sports College Football 25 is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. If you even get a sniff of a block against you, you cannot engage with the ball carrier unless the ball carrier literally runs straight into you. Otherwise, they'll just kind of zoop and they're gone. That's not great. It's fixable, which is good news, but it's not great right now. A lot of the streamers I watch do not play defense because of this. Defending against the pass is just fine. It's not like it is in Madden, where if your middle linebacker drops back into coverage, they can jump 6 feet in the air and get an interception. I really like that. You are able to just drop it in behind the coverage there. I also like that defensive players aren't vacuums when you put the ball in the air. Like, your guy actually has a chance to catch the ball. So they've done a wonderful job with the passing game. I think they just over-tuned the running game a little bit. But like I said, it's fixable. The kicking game, I really like as well. It's not just your right thumbstick back and flick it forward. It's timing. It's also, if you hold on for too long, you get max power on a kick. It's not considered a perfect kick. It can send the ball wildly off to the side. And yes, I have done that. I did it multiple times on stream. And I really enjoy that. So the gameplay itself is great. The graphics are obviously amazing. If there's one thing that EA Sports does well, it is graphically on the field. It's wonderful. Now, my main problem with this game is the menu music. You got permission from every school, all 134, I think, to have their fight songs in the game. Now, I don't know if in the contract to be able to have those, you say it's only in game after scoring a touchdown at the end of the game, at the introduction of a game. Why not just cycle through all 134 randomly and just play them as the menu music? I think that would be so much more immersive than the percussion line that you have, where it's just the drums. I think that would be better. And I think if it is possible, they should allow it, and they should also have it as an option. No, you can or you can't. I would love that. Not just turn off certain schools. No, leave those, make it so nobody can change that. You either toggle the option on for fight songs in the menu screens or toggle it off. I think that would be great. But the responsiveness in the menu screens is fantastic. In NCAA 14, and I know we're a decade away from that, but even in the Madden games recently, there used to be a lag or an input lag where you would, scroll through and it would keep scrolling way past where you wanted to go. Not really the case in this one. Also, button input, it doesn't log them. What I mean by that is if I hit X 3 times, but I only meant to hit it once, it's only going to hit it once. It's not going to hit it 3 times, like rapid per session. I like that. So overall, this game is great. I encourage everyone that has any interest in playing this to play it. It is full of both new innovations as well as nostalgia. I spent the majority of my youth playing these games, and this game was very well done. It was obviously made with a lot of passion and a lot of care from this team, and I'm glad that EA stayed mostly out of the way, and they wanted to make this happen for us. So I'm very happy about this game, and I'm very happy about how it was done. So kudos to the team that made this. I hope you can continue doing so in the future, and I hope that you can make it better through live service. All right, so that's that one. Buy it. That's my review. Now, let's pivot to a massively different game, Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. So this is an MMORPG set in the Final Fantasy world, and I've been playing it on stream, and I will probably continue to play it on stream just because it's easier for me to interact with the chat on Final Fantasy XIV than it is for college football. But I will play college football on Fridays. I'm going to call them Football Fridays. So if you want to watch me play that, that's when I'll be playing it. But for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, I've been enjoying it. Even the story. Some people are not... They're kind of disenchanted with the story because it's not serious. It has serious undertones. It's a story of a young woman growing into herself, growing into the leadership mantle that her father wants to place on her, as well as overcoming challenges along the way, overcoming her own doubts. It's a very wholesome story. I like it. It's not end of the world. It's not if we don't beat this particular character, it's the end of all time. It's not that. There's more humor. It's more fun. And I love that Final Fantasy XIV felt comfortable enough to do that. Because if you look at their main competitor, which is World of Warcraft, everything is the end of the world. Everything. Every expansion is the end of the world in some form or fashion. The original World of Warcraft, not so much. You just had the Alliance versus the Horde. You had a couple of raids. Had some PvP. You were good to go. As soon as Burning Legion came out, and all the way through to up till this next one too, it's the end of the world if you don't fix it. And that can get boring. It can get like, oh my gosh, all right, so who's going to be the next big bad? So I really like that Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail took the path of least resistance and just went, all right, this is going to be lighthearted. We're going to introduce a couple of new classes that are fun, and we're going to have a good story, but it's not going to be doom and gloom. Great. The boss fights that I have encountered thus far have been outstanding. The mechanics, easy to understand and pick up, but still difficult enough that if you do not pay attention to them, you will pay the price. And I play tank, so I need to know the mechanics. So it's way fun. If you are looking for a jumping on point, I know a lot of people look for those when it comes to MMORPGs. This is it for Final Fantasy. This really is it. Because it's lighthearted. The player base is fantastic. If you're afraid of a toxic player base like World of Warcraft has or League of Legends, you don't really need to fear that with Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy player base and community is so welcoming and so understanding that I would say maybe 5 out of 100 players is toxic, and even then, the toxicity that you see in Final Fantasy is nowhere near the level of World of Warcraft or League of Legends. Nobody is going to go tell you to go blank yourself, or they're going to tell you that you are the worst human being to ever live because you made a small mistake. They'll go, oh, no worries, we'll just get back into it, now you know. Or they will tell you what to look out for. It's really good. So this is very rare, but this is also a buy it. No matter what, not if you're into the series, not if you're looking for it to go on sale. This is a buy it. I'm really enjoying my time in the game. I haven't been playing it much off stream because I've been playing college football instead, but I can definitely see myself playing this more. Now, my time will get eaten up as we progress through into fall. Obviously, with watching football, watching basketball, and watching hockey, I only have so much time in my day. But World of Warcraft War Within is also launching later this summer. I'm definitely getting that. And so I will probably not be able to put as much time into Final Fantasy as some other people, but I will do my best. And I will probably try to stagger my schedule for streaming. So now we have a streaming update. So my 2 reviews for EA Sports College Football and for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, buy them. You're going to enjoy them one way or another. Not a waste of money either way. Streaming update. So, Football Fridays. I will be playing EA Sports College Football 25 on my Xbox every Friday. When World of Warcraft War Within launches, that will be my main game as I work my way through it. As once I hit level cap in World of Warcraft, I will move that to Wednesdays. It will be World of Warcraft Wednesdays. I love my alliteration, can you tell? And then the rest of the week will be kind of in flux. It'll be just kind of whatever I'm feeling like. So that's kind of the streaming schedule update to look forward to. If you want to watch me play a particular game, you can let me know, and I can see if I can fit it into the schedule. But that's kind of how we're looking moving forward. All right, everybody, that's the show this week. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, please do rate, review, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you listen. And lastly, please just be kind to one another and listen to one another, not to respond, but to have a conversation.